Howdy, gang. All right, so this is a little recap of my first few weeks living back in London full-time and what it's like living abroad. So first thing is, I woke up this morning and it's November 19th? Yes, November 19th, and it was snowing. I was so happy. Maybe some people that wouldn't make them happy. It made me very, very happy. And it's tapered off a little now, and it's just become like a hollow little rain, but it was coming down and it was mixed with rain. So I heard it on the window, and I'm like, what's that? And I'm like, whoa. So that made me very, very happy. It's a little early to be snowing. Not if you're Norwegian, so that's very comforting to me. But, from someone who's lived in Nashville for the last 22 years. So that was cool. Probably going to rain all day today, I think they said. So I'm not going to be traipsing around. But that brings me to my next point is, so, I talked about how expensive everything is. Yeah, it's expensive. It got a little bit more expensive because Dummy here, your friend, the Dummy, blew up, fried his first piece of gear. Fortunately, it was a little Behringer mixer, and that's the main reason I thought, I checked everything else. I checked all my devices. As you know, I think I've talked about this, because I had to buy everything new. I had to buy toasters and kettles and anything electronic I had to rebuy, including some gear. But I didn't check this stupid little Behringer thing, because I'm like, well, it's a Behringer piece of crap and it's made in Europe. I mean, it's Euro trash. So I didn't check it. Boom, it fried. Fortunately, it's only $80, I think. I looked it up. There's a newer model. It's like $80. I chose to not to go that route because I didn't want to do that again. I figured for a little bit more money, I got a Yamaha mixer that was a little bit better model features and was a little bit more expensive, but super highly rated. Now, what am I using this little mini mixer for? Well, when you play live doing free improvisation or avant-garde or experimental music, it's cool to have a mixer. I used to use the Behringer for that when I bought it 10 years ago. However, what I'm going to use it for is something that you should use it for. If you can pick up a little mixer that has at least one input and you have a mic splitter, what you use it for is I use the RME Fireface 802. It's got no latency. Yeah, well, but the thing is, all DAWs, all interfaces have some latency. It may not be a lot, some more than others. But Bob Olson taught me, well, if you just split the mic and send one output to a little mixer and the other into the Fireface, and then take the headphone output of the Fireface and put it into the mixer. So you're monitoring exactly what you're hearing, and your vocal has got no latency because it's all analog, but you're splitting the signal. So you're monitoring direct and you're recording that same signal in, but you're not hearing any latency. So that's what the mini mixer was meant to be used for. So I picked up a new one. You should try this. It's a great tip. Bob's a genius. So I got one from Gear for Music. It's on its way. It should be here today. I ordered it yesterday. It'll be here today. So that was the first thing. I fried my first piece of gear, and it won't happen again. I was lucky it was just that. But I'm pretty sure I checked everything. So that's number one. Number two, the other thing you need to know, it's very important if you live in a city like London, maybe not so much in the country, and we considered the country heavily, both here and in France and Norway. If you're going to live in a big city, especially this one, you're going to need storage. Like, so my stuff came, you can't see all of it because I put as much of it away as I can. There's still some stuff on the floor, there's guitars over here, but the C shipment still hasn't come, and I've taken up all the storage space. There's not a lot of storage in London, in homes, right? Like, it's a clever thing they try to do. Like here, they knew this, right? And the last place I lived at too. But normally, there's not a lot of built-in storage, and you have to do quite a dance. And they built some stuff here, but it's cool. It's cool, and I'm thankful. But it's not laid out the way I need it to be laid out. Like, first of all, we have like 5 or 6 pieces of big luggage. Well, where do those go? Well, if they go into a closet, they're taking up space that could be used for other things. Shelving is very important here. If you do get a closet, get like the first 4 feet is open on the bottom and then a bunch of shelves, but you're not going to get that in a lot of places. In a lot of places, it's going to be, catch as catch can. So that's something to think about. And I knew going in, because this is what I did last time, all my gear that I wasn't using and the luggage and a few other things went to a storage bin, a storage facility where I had a bin. They don't call them bins here. I call them bins. But I had a storage room nearby where I kept quite a lot of stuff. Now, it started out at 60 quid a month. This was back in 2016. But 2 years later, it got up to 80, and I saw it going to 85, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not doing that, because I wasn't living here at the time. So I took all the stuff out and put it in my bandmate's basement, because he lives in an old Victorian over in Stoke Newington. We talked about this before, and he allowed me to keep it there. Well, allowed me. I think his wife allowed me. He wasn't too happy about it, but he's a great dude, and he let me keep it there for 7 years. And when I would come to London, I would grab my guitar, grab an amp. I had a pedal board, had a whole bunch of clothes there, didn't have to worry about it. So I think what people here do is they do winter, summer, seasonal. They have their clothes there. We'll do that, but it'll also be, guitars and gear that I'm not using, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a big thing to consider, is you're gonna need extra space. Fortunately, there's a place right down the road here. It's the same place I used before. And make sure you ask them when you go to try to get a space, if they have any plans to move, if they're gonna be around. Now, why is this important? Well, normally I'm not that smart to ask that question, but there was a place closer to us last time, and I was like, yeah, that's great, because I can just drag it 2 blocks and put it in this place. And the other place was like 8 blocks away maybe. And when I got there, I got the paperwork, I was filling it out, and I'm like, I don't know what struck me to say, and are you still gonna be here? You're planning to stay around? And they're like, oh, well, it's interesting you ask. This whole block is being turned into condos next year. Oh, thank you very much. Whoosh, and I went around the corner. And that place is still here, and they basically own that block that they're on. It's a corner of the Vale, the high road, the opposite high road, 2 different high roads in this area, sort of. I'll explain later. But the high road's really important. And so I don't think this place is moving, and I think that's where I'm going to go again. So that's another very, very important thing to know if you're moving abroad to a major city. Your rent isn't the only consideration, or your mortgage. You're probably going to have to get another space. I love this house. My skylight. There's skylight in the bathroom. There's 3 floors. It's beautiful. It's extremely well done. As you can tell, it's quiet. We're not getting any London street noise. and it's, you know, it's a passive house, so it's temperature controlled. But even though they thought about, you know, storage, it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. When we get that C shipment, which I don't know, it's going to be another month or two, probably 2 more months, I think. We put a tracker. Remember, I told you, put a tracker in your shipments. We have a tracker in that shipment, so we know where it is. So it looks like it's going to be another 2 months. When that comes, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, we'll unpack a few things, but then I've got this guy, Mickey Mahmoud, but he likes to be called Mickey, and I've been using him for 7 years. Maybe 8 years, maybe I met him when the first time we were here, and he's got a van, and he'll take you anywhere and help you move your stuff. Great dude. I love hanging out with him, getting his side of the perspective of places like this. You know, I got the American perspective, he's got his perspective. I really appreciate that stuff. And my old barbers were from Syria, so I loved hearing the Syrian angle of everything. So that's another thing I love about big cities, diversity, and hearing different accents and dialects and languages and perspectives on everything. Call me crazy, I love that stuff. So that's basically it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to share with you, but I think, like, you know, you're going to do a lot of walking. I love the subway, the tube here, and the buses, but I like to walk as much as possible. But even if you use mass transit, you're going to walk a lot. I've lost 7 pounds since moving here, despite eating extravagant meals whenever I can, because I like diverse foods, you know. But yeah, I've lost 7 pounds. That's just from walking around and the moving and stuff. So be prepared that even if you use mass transit, you're going to do a lot of walking, but it's good for you because there's a lot to see. All the museums, or most of the museums, the national museums, are free here in England, which is, love it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to hear them. And, you know, when I get some more experiences here, I will happily share them with you. Thanks for watching.